All right, so today we're headed out to get the frame sandblasted and powder coated, and I got a box of parts there too that he's just going to sandblast for me. So we're getting ready to hit the road. Just wanted to document the trip a little bit, and by the end of this video, hopefully you'll see the end results of everything. Of course, he's not doing it today. I'm just dropping it off, but I'll edit the video so you guys can get a look at how it came out. So anyway, getting ready to hit the road. Stop for a little gas, a little coffee. So we're going to get to it. It's supposed to snow a few inches, so hopefully it's not too bad. All right, so we're home now with the frame. Definitely happy with the outcome. Guy did a really nice job on it. Not sure how that's coming out on the video, but looks really sharp. I like the color black it came out. He gave me a few choices. I didn't want it super shiny, so I didn't want a high gloss, yet I didn't want it flat. So this is somewhere in between. It's got a nice sheen to it. So that should blend in good with everything else. But yeah, it really came out sharp. Let me show you how he did the VIN number here. So what happens when you powder coat, a lot of the powder coaters, they just go over the VIN number, and the time they bake the powder coat on, you can't even read the VIN. Sometimes you can't even see it, depending on how thick the powder coat is. But this guy goes through the trouble. He actually clear coats around the VIN number with a clear powder coat, and then once that's done, then he actually tapes around the VIN number, and then he does the black. So leaves you with a nice professional looking VIN number that you can still read. So definitely went the extra mile there. Even like places like this, he was smart enough. He knows that there's going to be a bushing going on here. He didn't powder coat over that. He tapes it off with high temperature tape before he powder coats. Same thing there. Yeah, I didn't even ask him to do that. He's just, you can tell he's a professional, and he definitely knows what he's doing, because he restores dirt bikes and quads as well. So he knows not to powder coat that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I really like it. He did some sandblasting on some other parts for me. I'm going to grab them and show you guys those real quick, and then I'll give you a quick update on where we are with the project. All right, so here's the parts he sandblasted for me. We got the side case, got the cylinder head, and the triple tree. I didn't have him powder coat these for a couple different reasons. One, I didn't originally schedule for him to do these parts, but I'm not set up for sandblasting right now. So I just figured why I had the stuff there, I'd have him blast them for me. He actually didn't even charge me anything. I ended up throwing a few extra bucks anyway, but he actually didn't want anything extra. But anyway, they came out good. So now I can paint these. I would have liked to powder coated them, but my original plan wasn't for powder coat at all. I wasn't even going to powder coat the frame. And then I decided I was so far into the bike, I just assumed spend a little bit more money and get it powder coated. But I already have the paint for this stuff, so I want to utilize that. I use the Eastwood 2K paint. It's a spray can, but it's a two-part paint. You puncture the bottom of the can with a special thing that they give you, and it does a really good job, and it's nice hard paint. And I already purchased that, and that's like 27, 28 bucks a can, so I'm definitely going to utilize that. And I also don't like all the black to match on a dirt bike. I know that might sound a little over the top, but I don't like all the sheens to be the same. You know, if you have a black motor, a black frame, and black triple tree, black handlebars, and it's all been done in the same paint, kind of starts to blend, and it doesn't really look real original. Because a brand new dirt bike back in the day, not all the blacks would look the same. You know, the aluminum stuff was painted in one part of the factory, the frame was done in another part of the factory, so you know, the sheens weren't exactly the same, so I'm trying to stick with that. Not that he couldn't powder coat different sheens, but again, I have the paint, so I'm going to do the painting on this myself. I'm going to use the Eastwood 2K on the side case and the triple tree, and then I have high temp paint. for the cylinder and the head. So I'll be cleaning these up a little bit, degreasing them, get the residual sand off of them, and then I'll do a video painting these guys up and see how they come out. But anyway, so that's pretty much everything from the powder coating guy. Very happy with the work. So from there, just going to give you a quick update where we are, and that'll probably pretty much be it for this video. All right, so here's another thing I've been working on. The gas tank, obviously. It was discolored. Any plastic gas tank on these old dirt bikes, from being out in the sun, they all get discolored. The green likes to actually, from the sun, it actually gets a darker green. So I'm trying to do a wet sanding process to get this thing back to presentable. It's a pretty long process. I already got about 2 hours into this tank, and that may not look so great at first glance, but I'll try to put in a picture of what it looked like when I started. These are the new decals for the tank. I had a hard time finding these. If you have an 84, I can't remember, 83 and 84 might have shared this graphic, or 84, 85, I forget. But anyway, very hard to find. These actually came out of the UK somewhere. I forget exactly where. I think that's their address there. But anyway, it took a little while for them to come in, especially with COVID going on and all that. But I was lucky to find them, and actually I kind of figured out on my own. They actually didn't have anything listed for a KDX 200. They sell them as an 84 KDX 250. So I looked at the pictures and I was like, man, it looks like the same decal. So I kind of took a chance on it. Suppose I could have tried to call them. But anyway, I lucked out. I didn't know. I was hoping they weren't a little smaller or a little bit bigger, because when you're doing a tank like this, you can get the original color back pretty close, but where the decal was, you're never going to get this to completely blend. It's just, you can get it close, but this is always going to look different than the rest of the tank. So if you don't have the original decals and you just, I don't know, put like a generic Kawasaki sticker across here, you're always going to see that. So in a situation like this, you want the originals, and you should be able to see here that this is an exact match to where it was. So you can already start to see that just covering up that blemish from the old decal. It already looks better. I'll mention on these they only have them perforated like this. I'm not a big fan of the perforation. I know why they do it, because they say from the fumes coming through the plastic tank, it'll start lifting decals. And I'm not saying there's no truth in that. There is. I've done a lot of decals on a lot of bikes, my quads, my son's CR and that kind of thing. So, and I've had graphics that aren't available anymore like this reproduced, and I've had good luck with this one guy that I use. But anyway, I'm not a big fan of the perforation for a couple reasons. One, the original one, they weren't perforated. So again, I'm kind of a bug when it comes to details like that. I may end up using these. I'm not sure, but if nothing else, I'm going to actually send these out to the guy that I use. That's this guy here. If you ever need anything reproduced, this guy does awesome work. You can find him on Facebook. So I may send him these so he can copy them and make them non-perforated, and he uses a really good heavy glue. So I'm not overly concerned with them peeling off. I've used perforated ones before. I'm one of my son's old XR100s, and actually 2 days later I had all kinds of bubbles behind it, and so not overly impressed with that. I understand the idea behind it. But anyway, kind of rattling on about that, but not sure what I'm doing there. I may use these, I may not. Depends on how the budget's doing at that point, but they actually don't look so bad. So anyway, that's the new decals. All right, so next for show and tell, I was able to find the original warning sticker. This was the one that was on there. We had to heat it up and take it off before powder coating. So I was actually surprised I was able to find that available still. If you go on like Babbitt's online, and go underneath the Kawasaki OEM stuff. It's actually still available. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to get it, but it is still available, so that's kind of cool. You know, attention to detail, things like that really make a bike once you're done with it. Something I couldn't obviously get was the original VIN tag, because it's obviously unique to the dirt bike. So we had to heat this one up and take it off also. And that's obviously not going back on. When you heat them up, they get distorted. They actually kind of shrink. So I ended up having it reproduced. I found the guy online. He was actually out in California, and he reproduced it for me. There is another company online. If you go on there, he's out of Canada. He does a lot of VIN sticker reproduction for the old dirt bikes and motorcycles. I tried working with him, but COVID was going on, and I know the restrictions were a little bit heavier out in Canada, so the communication was kind of slow. So I found this guy in California, and I sent him dimensions and a bunch of pictures, and he actually did a good job. He sent me 3 different fonts so I can pick which one was the closest to the original font. I think I decided it's this one here in the middle. So anyway, again, attention to detail. You know, it definitely wasn't cheap. You know, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a small little sticker, but they have a lot of time in reproducing it and getting the font right and getting the size right. So, you know, it definitely wasn't cheap, but again, it wasn't awful, but it, again, attention to detail. So that'll end up on the new powder coated frame. So that'll end up going on there and should look pretty good all said and done. And then our warning sticker, that goes down here on the frame. So it'll be a while before I have to put them on. It'll probably be one of the last things I do. If you put it on now, it'll end up getting banged up. All right, so last but not least, I want to show you guys this here. It's pretty cool. At least I think it's cool anyway. I was able to find this new old stock. It's the meter for the bike. The KDX 200s have a meter on top of them. At least they did when they were new, and basically showed you how many miles you traveled when you're out riding and that kind of thing. So they're pretty hard to come by, even used. You know, when people out riding, they got smashed, they got wet after a while. They're digital, so they get wet. Didn't work. People disconnect and throw them out, and so you don't find them very often. And when you do, you know, they want a couple $100 for them. So I looked around a while for a used one. I think I found one at one point, and again, the guy wanted like $200 for it, and it didn't even have the plastic outer case, and it was rough, and he couldn't even guarantee that it would work properly. So I passed on that, and I looked around. I found this on eBay, probably the last one in existence, I would imagine, and the price was pretty hefty. I watched it for a while, and I didn't want to pull the trigger on it. So he had a best offer kind of thing. So I gave him an offer at one point for $100 less than he was asking. I didn't think he would accept it, but he did. And again, I don't really want to mention what I paid for this, but it wasn't much more than what they want for a used one, to be honest. But it was still a pretty good chunk of change, so that ate a good part of the budget. But anyway, let me show you guys this. I think I still got the batteries in it. So she works. Again, brand new old stock. Got the plastic case around it. Never been installed. Wiring harness is obviously perfect. It's brand new. So, kind of cool. I was excited to get that for the price that I got it. I don't think I would have paid what he was originally asking. Here's the original invoice from back then. 3/20/1984. So that thing was sitting on a shelf for a while. But anyway, good find. Wasn't cheap, but definitely going to look good on this bike when it's all said and done. It should definitely be the finishing touch. So anyway, that's pretty much it in a nutshell right now. We're going to get back to working on this. We're going to get this stuff painted up. I got to hone out the cylinder. Still trying to find a piston for this thing. Nobody makes a reproduction piston. And the new old stock ones or the OEM ones, if they come along, it's very rare. And if anybody knows how, you know, hard to find they are, they usually want, you know, I've seen one guy want it $250 for one. and I wasn't going to pay that much for it. There's one guy on eBay that I think what he does is I think the 2006 piston actually is very close. I think it's like 3 millimeters longer, the bottom skirt. And I think he gets a bunch of them and he sends them to a machine shop and he has them actually machined down. And he says they're a perfect fit. So I think I might try him. He only wants $75 for it. And I'll keep my eyes out for a new old stock one. You know, if I come across one for a decent price, I'll pick it up. But at least I can get one. May not be original, but the guy says they work. So anyway, I got to get that ordered, get these cleaned up, painted up, and get the rest of the motor back together. The bottom ends all rebuilt, and we'll get the motor in, and we'll start putting this bike back together. So definitely look out for some new videos coming up. Kind of been on took a little bit a break for a while. Kind of got busy with work again and working on my house and that kind of thing. But weather's getting nice, so I should be out here more often. So definitely look out for more videos. Hopefully you like the update and the frame, and we'll see you soon.